Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Walking Through the Scriptures with Joseph Bahoda. I'm your host, Joe Bahoda, and I got another good one for you today. I'm talking about Dr. Kynan Bridges. Now, he's a guy that I introduced you to a couple of weeks ago because he basically said, when it comes to exposing ministries or exposing pastors, when they're doing wrong or in sin or whatever, he basically is like, I'm not going to name them by name. And that I did a whole entire video about that, about how biblically he's wrong. So basically he said, we'll talk about sin, we'll talk about stuff, but we won't say who's actually doing it. We won't warn people, and we won't warn them by, saying their name. And I basically challenged him to say how wrong he was on that. Well, because of that video that I did a couple weeks ago on him, I've kind of been following some of his videos ever since. And I found this one about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So this is about a month or so ago. This is fairly recent. Talking about how the wealth transfer is going to happen. And well, actually, he said the wealth transfer has already begun. And so now I kind of know why he doesn't call out people by name, is because if they did, people would be calling him out by name. Because the wealth transfer is a scam. The wealth transfer is a hot mess lie that the prosperity pimps, these prosperity word of faith preachers have been pimping for a long time. One of the guys is Bill Winston. Bill Winston has been preaching the wealth transfer at least since my research has found since 2012. Now, if you those of you who don't know, Bill Winston is really, really good friends with Kenneth Copeland. Kenneth Copeland, as you know, is like the godfather. And I say he's the godfather because he's like the oldest living one who's still alive now. He's like 88 now. And he's been a big proponent of wealth transfer and money cometh to me, Dr. Leroy Thompson, all them guys, Creflo Dollar. They're all friends. They all preach in the same preaching circle. And Bill Winston is a huge proponent of wealth transfer. He taught it in 2012. And he might have even taught it before that. But Bill Winston is a really, really big friend of Kenneth Copeland. So therefore, Bill Winston is a prosperity gospel pimp. He is a financially fleecing pimp. He's a word of faith pimp. He's the guy that also taught, understanding your divinity. He actually has a series. So he's one of them, you're a little God person. He's a heretic. Just like Kenneth Copeland is. Well, Bill Winston is a good friend of his. Well, Bill Winston back in 2012 taught a series called Wealth Transfer, right? Which is this money cometh to me, same thing. And anyway, I'm going to show you a video real quick before I get into Dr. Kynan Bridges of how there was a guy who called either Amazon or whoever. Actually, he called Bill Winston Ministries because obviously when 2013 and all that happened, the wealth transfer didn't happen. And the guy actually called Bill Winston Ministries saying, hey, can I get my money back from ordering your book? Because apparently Bill Winston made a book. And when the wealth transfer didn't happen, the guy actually called and said, hey, can I get my money back for at least buying this fraudulent book? Because all the stuff in the book is obviously fraudulent because it didn't happen. Which I think is actually a pretty fair and honest request. I think that's pretty fair. So that's actually pretty good. So I'm going to show you that, but I'm saying all that and say this, how the wealth transfer didn't happen, number one. Number two, anytime you hear the word wealth transfer, this is prosperity gospel 101. This is word of faith 101. And these are scams and these are buzzwords. Remember, I've been saying this a lot on my channel. Anytime you hear a buzzword like, wealth transfer, or, I hear the abundance of rain, or I hear the abundance of the sound of rain, or God's going to give you the rain in the latter rain. Or, you're going to walk in the mantle of preacher so-and-so. Anytime you hear the words like mantle or rain and latter rain, or I hear the abundance of rain, or in this case, wealth transfer, ding, 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 that's prosperity gospel, false teaching, financially fleecing, financially pimping, teaching 101. And Dr. Kynan Bridges is going to use wealth transfer. Now, Bill Winston taught on wealth transfer back in 2012, and it didn't happen. So it's not going to happen now. So this, if you look at my banner here, it says Dr. Kynan Bridges. The wealth transfer is a scam and is not going to happen. This is prosperity gospel trigger words, guys. And you got to know. So again, Bill Winston said that this is going to happen back in 2012. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to show you the video of the guy calling Dr. Bill Winston Ministries, demanding he gets his money back for buying his book. And then we'll go on to Dr. Kynan Bridges.
All right, let me see if I can call Bill Winston Ministries.
Thanks for calling Bill Winston Ministries. My name is Frank. Can I get your partner's number?
I don't have a partner number. I'm calling I'm trying to get a refund on a wealth transfer, a book, and a DVD series called The Wealth Transfer.
Now, I don't know if you can see it, but it says The Wealth Transfer by Bill Winston, and the DVD series is $48. So he's charging people $48 for a wealth transfer that's not going to ever come. And this was way back in again, 2012, at least 2012.
Bill Winston, he said that this was going to come to, the wealth transfer was going to happen in 2012, and it didn't happen. And, as far as I'm concerned, he lied. And, I want to get my money back. I spent $48 for a DVD series. I bought it last February, and this book is a total of $49.50.
You buy from us?
Yes, I got it on Amazon. I got it on Amazon.com.
Oh, you got it on Amazon.com?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, what's your name, sir?
My name is.
Okay,
I called yesterday. Some lady was there. I spoke to some lady.
Oh, okay. Give me a moment here.
And again, I actually think this is a pretty good request. I spent $48 on this wealth transfer and it didn't happen. And I got my $48 back. Can you transfer that wealth back to me? Since it didn't happen, transfer that $48 back to me.
Give me a moment. I'm transferring it.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I talked to you yesterday about the DVD and the book. I'm trying to get a refund on this. It's like $49.50 is the total. And I checked my records, and I got this on Amazon.com.
That isn't ours then. It has to come from us for us to give you a refund.
Okay, well, it says Dr. Bill Winston on.
All right, do you hear what the lady said from Bill Winston Ministries? You're like, since that was bought from Amazon, that's something you got to take up at Amazon, because we're not Amazon, we're Bill Winston Ministries. Now, granted, that may be technically true, but what you're doing is you're selling fraudulent stuff on Amazon, and it's your material, but you don't care because if you're getting like royalties or whatever on that, it doesn't matter. So basically, what they're saying is, since Bill Winston put this out, however, since it was sold on Amazon, then basically Bill Winston's ministries are saying our hands are tied and our hands are off of it. Basically, as if to say we have zero responsibility as to what was sold, even though it was fraudulent. We have zero responsibility because Amazon was the seller, not us. Yeah, but the origin came from you, so you're still responsible for the fraudulent teaching you put out, Bill. But anyway, that's what she's basically saying
on it. You're selling products on. You got your books on sale on Amazon.com. All I want to know is, if I send this stuff back, can I get a refund?
Sir, we don't sell on Amazon.
Okay, well, I see Bill Winston's face on here. I see his books. He's smiling. I mean, what do you mean you don't sell your stuff on Amazon?
Sir, can you hear me just for one moment? People resell things that they purchase on Amazon. We do not sell our products through Amazon. We sell our products through our website or through our product desk here.
Okay, well, if I got it through your website, because I can tell my friends, because I know some of them probably got it through the website. If we send it back, can we get a refund? This is not a game. I'm serious.
Sir, I'm not trying to make it a game. I'm trying to give you information.
Right. So can this be refunded? Because he promised something that didn't come to pass.
You hear what he's saying? He's like, look, okay, if I can't get a refund from Amazon, because she's like, we don't sell directly from Amazon. Apparently that came from a third vendor, and that third vendor is sold on Amazon. Okay, fine. He's like, well, since I got the book and since I got the DVD and since it didn't come to pass, if I return this to Bill Winston Ministries, then can I get a refund of the $49 that I bought for it?
I'm trying to give you information.
Right. So can this be refunded? Because he promised something that didn't come to pass. And
when you purchase the product.
I'm sorry?
It depends on when you purchase the product. If it's within 60 days, we'll be very happy to give you the refund.
Okay, so if I purchased it within 60 days, well, see, that's not.
See, that within 60 days, 60-day money back guarantee. Well, again, that puts a deadline on the wealth transfer then, doesn't it? So if you're going to prophesy in 2012, the wealth transfer is going to happen. It's now 2025 and the wealth transfer still hasn't happened. And this is after COVID hit in 2020. Then, so if you're going to prophesy this in 2012, then exactly when is this wealth transfer supposed to happen? Bill and everybody else.
Fair, because he promised, he's been preaching on this wealth transfer for years. He said it was going to come to pass in 2012. It's February 2013. I think he should refund everybody. If he promised something that the Lord said something was going to come to pass, he needs to be held accountable for that.
Hello, somebody. See, I don't even know who this brother is, but this brother's all over it. He needs to be held accountable for something that didn't happen. Pay the money back, refund the money, something. This brother's all over it, man. This brother's all over it.
60 days on a prophecy, whether prophecy comes to pass. I mean, I don't understand. I feel like I should be able to get some money back. I mean, I said.
Hold on just one moment.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All right. And the video ends right there. So I don't know if he ever got his money back or not. All right. But I will say this. I am going to share that video in the description along with this Kynan Bridges video. So you'll be able to watch both of them on your own time. So I'm going to include both of those links in the description of my video. I don't know if the brother ever got his money back, but I'd like to personally know. If you know who that guy is and if he got his money back, let me know. I would love to know. But the reason I showed you that was to show that this money transfer, this wealth transfer thing is a scam. And these prosperity gospel preachers have been preaching this at least since 2012. Well, it's now 2025. And when is there's some questions, saints, we got to ask ourselves when we hear something like this. Okay, wealth transfer is coming. When is it coming? Can I get a when? 2, how is it coming? If this is so-called true, when and where, who's it going to come from? Is the government going to give me this money? Are they going to issue me a check? Is a check coming in the mail? Am I supposed to be getting a job and I'm going to be getting like a huge increase on my job? So when you say wealth transfer, who's it coming from? And 2, how am I getting it? How am I supposed to be receiving this wealth just by faith? No, you're saying it's coming. So you're saying I'm supposed to physically tangibly be getting something. So if this wealth transfer is happening, then how is it happening? How am I getting it? By what means and when is this wealth transfer supposed to be happening? See, if you don't answer any of these questions, then all you're doing is just giving me false hope and false dreams and painting a false narrative. And I'm not supposed to be receiving something by faith that's obviously clearly not going to come. You're going to make me a false promise, a false prophecy, and then I'm supposed to receive it by faith. And then when it doesn't come to pass, there's zero accountability for the so-called prophet who said it. Welcome to Prosperity Gospel, Prosperity Pimping and Financially Fleecing 101. So now you have Dr. Kynan Bridges. Let me go ahead and share my screen because, again, I told you I was going to get to this. And now he talks about a wealth transfer, and he did this about a month ago. Okay? So he's going to talk, and as he's talking, I'll do some commentary. And it's just crazy. It's the same garbage Bill Winston was saying.
Hey, friends all over the world. I'm going to share something with you that many don't know, and some don't want to know. But not only is this true, what I'm about to share with you, but it's critical. It's critically important, what I'm about to share. So you might want to hear this one.
Okay, waiting for you to get to it. So again, here's the wind up. Here's the pitch.
The great transfer of wealth has begun.
The wealth transfer. This is the same wealth transfer they talked about in 2012. Look at the title. The great transfer of wealth has begun. Says who? Says you. And two. And then two, even if this were true, Kynan, how do we know if we've received it? If this is so-called true, how do we know if we actually got it? Give me signs and evidences of this actually happening. It's okay. We'll wait.
The great transfer of wealth has begun. I'm going to tell you a couple of things that you don't know. I'm sure you don't know this. And the reason why I can be confident in saying I'm sure you don't know it is because we're not taught this. We don't talk about this in church. In fact, whenever a preacher talks about finances or money, it inflames people. It enrages people.
Right. Well, one of the reasons is because of financially fleecing, financially pimping pimps who've taken advantage of people, i.e. wolves in sheep's clothing who've done wrong by it. They're living high on the hog and the people are living paycheck to paycheck. So my point is, Kynan, there's a reason why people are inflamed. It has nothing to do with what you're about ready to say. It's because of these leaders who've been doing people wrong. So yes, there is a triggering. There is a people get sensitive to it. You want to know why? Because of financially fleecing preachers, which they're right. They're right about being angry about that. So don't come up against them. They should be right about being angry about that because these preachers were wrong. And they're tired of the injustice of being taken advantage of. They should be angry about that, Kynan. So they shouldn't be rebuked. That you should be saying, yeah, guys, you guys are right. This is pathetic.
It makes people sick to their stomachs. It turns people off, right? Yet here's the profound irony of that. 85% of all prayer requests that come into ministries, and these are pastors, preachers, teachers, etc., have to do with money, have to do with finances. And yet the cognitive dissonance in the church suggests that we should not discuss it. Don't talk about it.
That's false. Churches talk about money all the time. And even if you're wrong, like about tithing, you're still talking about money though, aren't you? Yes. I mean, granted, these churches are wrong in them teaching tithing and all that. But at the same time, they're still talking about tithing, are they not? Therefore, they're talking about indirectly, they're talking about money, are they not? Yes. So when he says these churches won't talk about tithing, won't talk about money. No, they do talk about money. They just talk about money either one, wrongly, like i.e. tithing, or two, I would rephrase it, Kynan, and I would say this. It's not that we don't talk about money, we do. It's either one, we talk about money incorrectly, or two, we don't teach people about sound biblical doctrine and stewardship regarding money. We don't teach people how to save. We don't teach people how to do IRAs, stocks, bonds, all that kind of stuff. We don't teach people how to actually save money and therefore live on a budget and therefore gain wealth. We don't teach people how to actually do it. So it's not that we don't talk about money. We do. It's just either one, we teach it incorrectly, or two, we don't give people sound stewardship to how to gain wealth in their lifetime. That's what the churches aren't doing. They're not teaching stewardship of money. But what we're doing instead is we're saying money cometh to me, or wealth transfers is somehow God's going to supernaturally do it, even though we haven't taught the people how to steward what money may be coming, if this were true, which I don't believe it is. But if it were to come true, Kynan, how are we supposed to steward this wealth once we get it? See, that's what we're not teaching, Kynan, is we're not teaching people how to properly steward what they already have. Instead, we're teaching garbage like this.
We're not supposed to focus on that. Yet there is a hyper focus on finances in people's private lives. It literally consumes every conversation that they have.
Nobody's saying we don't talk about money in the church. See, that's a false narrative. People preach on money. People talk about money. That's a lie. That is a complete lie. We don't focus on that, but we do focus on that from time to time. So that's just a blatant lie.
Money is cited as the number one reason for divorce in the United States. And by the way, 50% of all marriages in the United States end in divorce. And I repeat again, the number one reason cited besides irreconcilable differences is money. And yet, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to say anything about it. And any preacher that talks about it is just after your money. He's a charlatan. He's a scam artist. And the list goes on and on and on. Yeah.
Because if they're a prosperity pimp, they are. If they're a word of faith or money cometh to be, name it and claim it, they are. They are a charlatan. They are a false teacher. They are teaching false teaching. And they are scamming us. So that's the reason people say it, Kynan, is because they are. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. They are wrong. That's why we're calling them out. So the list goes on and on. It goes on and on for good reason, Kynan. Now I know why you don't call people out by name, is because by default, we'd have to call you out by name too, sir.
Yet, there is an unavoidable reality. An unavoidable reality. The transfer of wealth has already begun.
So I should be getting it then, right? If it's already begun, who's getting it? And when am I supposed to get it, bro? Just saying.
It's already begun. Are you not paying attention to the news? Did you not know that the DOJE literally just at a press conference unveiling $1 trillion of taxpayer money that was lost to fraud? $1 trillion. While we're sitting here right now, do you know that millions of US dollars have been given in the funding of terrorism across the world?
Okay, fine. If that's true, fine. It's horrible, but two. So what does that mean for me? Does that mean they're going to pay it back or give it back and then start divvying it out to me and other Christians? So what? I mean, in the context, I mean, it's horrible. Don't get me wrong, but in the context of wealth transfer, so what? What does that mean now, Kynan? Start connecting the dots. Does that mean we're going to get that $1 trillion back? Again, tell me how, bro. Tell me how. Connect the dots for me. Otherwise, you're making no sense.
In the funding of all kinds of debauchery, all kinds of perversion, the mutilating of children, etc.
Yes, but what does that mean for wealth transfer? Does that mean they're going to stop giving to that and now they're going to start giving to me? What does that mean? All you did was just show and prove, if you will, how all this money is going out to bad things. Okay, great. So is it going to stop doing that and then they're going to start giving to the saints? Connect the dots.
And yet here the church is, you church folks don't want to talk about finances. And in a country.
No, we do. We just want to talk about it right. And we want to be talking about stewardship, and we don't want to be taken advantage of with crap like this.
Of 360 million people, where 260 million claim to be Christians, only 6% of Christians in the United States tithe.
Because it's a false teaching, and we're not commanded in the New Testament to give 10% of our income to the church. But by saying you're saying tithe, I'm assuming, Kynan, that you're a tithing proponent, you're a tithing teacher, which would make sense since you're teaching this garbage. But yeah, the reason the 6%, I've heard 14%. He's saying 6%. I've seen 14%. Either way, only 14% of Americans actually tithe. The reason we don't, Kynan, is because we're not supposed. We don't. I'm not going to say we're not supposed to. We don't have to. So the reason we don't do it is because a lot of people have either, one, don't have the money to do it, or two, we realize it's a false teaching that it actually is. Try again, Kynan. Try again, because that was not it.
A very small percentage of people that profess Christianity attend their churches regularly.
Well, because there's a lot of bad churches out there, number one. It's hard to find a good church. And I've had countless of people who've emailed me saying, bro, I'm looking for a good church, but I can't find one in my area. That's a legit thing, Kynan. That's a legit thing.
And so there is a lie being told us. A lie being told us by liberals. A lie being told us by the godless, who want us to believe that the greatest threat to the church.
Stop real quick. So basically, since I'm saying this and I'm teaching this, so I'm a liberal and I'm godless, right? So I'm the problem because I'm godless and I'm the liberal. Okay, Kynan, got it. Let me run it a little bit.
being told us by liberals, a lie being told us by the godless, who want us to believe that the greatest threat to the church are pastors.
Yes. If they're wolves in sheep's clothing and they're false teachers and false prophets, yes, absolutely. Because they're going to lead the people astray. But no, he's not going to say that. He's not going to put the onus on the leadership. Kynan now is going to blame us. Watch, he's going to blame the people in the pews. He's going to blame us. Now, granted, we do have some role to play if we're not reading our word, we're not studying to show ourselves approved unto God. We're not, doing what we're supposed to do to be educated on these issues. So yeah, we're not innocent. We have a role to play, but it's not just all our fault. And these leaders are innocent, which is basically what he's going to say here.
I've heard people preach that the greatest threat to Christianity in America is the American pulpit. And though that may feed your ego and tickle your fancy, it is a lie.
No, it's not. It's the truth. I mean, if you got wolves in sheep's clothing, they're going to ruin the congregation. That's just facts, bro. That's just facts.
It is a lie. The greatest threat to Christianity is not the American pulpit. The greatest threat to Christianity is Christians. Christians.
We're the problem. Here we go. Don't blame the preacher who's preaching this garbage. No, blame us. Got it, Kynan. Got it.
Church folks who don't want to study the Bible. Church folks who don't want to inform themselves. Church people.
Because if they did, they would realize the stuff that you're saying right now, sir, wouldn't work. If people actually read the scriptures and studied their Bibles, Dr. Kynan, people would not allow you to get away with what you're saying right now. Because they would know and they would realize the garbage you're spewing out of your mouth is crazy right now. I.e., if they really studied their Bible, see, you ought to thank God people are not studying their Bible, Kynan, because people not studying their Bible is one of the reasons you have a ministry. People's ignorance of the scriptures is the reason you can get on YouTube and say this kind of stuff. People's ignorance and naivete of not knowing their word is the reason you can do what you do, sir. So actually, you need to be thanking God these people don't read their word, because that's allowing you to do what you do. Because if people actually did read their word, they would have marked and avoided you a long time ago. Hello, somebody.
People who want to live in a glass house and look down their long religious noses at society. That's the threat. The threat is that we are running the risk, church, of becoming irrelevant. Yes, we might make it to heaven, but we will be irrelevant in society. And while we're infighting and we're attacking one another on blogs and Christian posts and articles, and we're enriching ourselves by trying to destroy one another, the devil is the one laughing. Because the truth is,
we're not trying to destroy one another. We're just trying for the right things to be done and these leaders to be accountable and walk in righteousness. That's all that is.
The matter is, if we don't understand the financial revival that not only is coming to the United States and abroad, if we don't understand the need for believers to be empowered economically, the need for believers to know what the scripture actually says about money, that in the 66 books of the Bible, there were more verses on finances than any other subject matter. Why? Because, hear this as I get ready to end this live. The reason why that is absolutely critical is because nothing fortifies the demonic and nothing destroys the demonic like money.
Are you serious? Nothing destroys the demonic like money. So apparently Jesus didn't do a good enough job then. So nothing destroys the demonic better than money. So Jesus didn't do it then. So the Holy Spirit doesn't do it then. So Jesus doesn't destroy the demonic. No, money's better. What you just said right there, Kynan, is a blasphemous statement. You want to know who destroys the demonic? Christ. Period. Not money at all. Now, money may bring evil out of you because, again, the love of money, not that money itself, but the love of money is the root of all evil. So if you love money, yeah, you will get upset by it. So yeah, it will. Money can bring evil out of you. But what destroys demonic? Christ. So that's blasphemous what you just said. But number two, you know what he's really saying there when he talked about this wealth transfer and that's going to bring a financial revival? You know what he's really saying? The Christians need to walk in wealth because that's going to bring an end time revival. That's going to usher in the Holy Spirit. That's going to usher in people getting saved when the Christians have the wealth. Prosperity pimps, prosperity preachers have been preaching this lie for decades. This is why they preach Christians need to own everything. You know, we need to own everything. Is so we can be in charge. Because if we own it, we're in charge. And if we're in charge, this is going to usher in the end time revival in America or whatever. So if you really want to have evangelism, then the Christians need to be in charge wealth as far as wealth. And us having wealth is what's going to usher in this end time revival. I've heard that so many times in the prosperity gospel word of faith movement, guys. I can't even tell you how many times I've heard this. And Dr. Kynan now is preaching the same garbage. We need to rule and reign in our wealth. We need to rule and reign in our money so we can own everything. And that's going to usher in this, great end time awakening or revival. Says no Bible verse ever, but that's how these westernized, Americanized pimps preach it. What did John and Peter say? Remember when they were in Acts chapter 3, they said, silver and gold have we none. So we don't have any money. We don't have any wealth. But what we do, at least not money, but what we do have, i.e. the wealth of the knowledge of Christ, what we do have in the name of Jesus, take up your mat and walk. We don't have any money, but what we do have, Kynan, is Christ. And that man got up and was healed and walked. And that is what brought a revival in that region. Because there was a man that was crippled. He got up and walked by the power of Christ. And that's what brought the revival. And guess what? After he got up and was healed, John and Peter still had no money. They were still broke. You don't need money to have a revival. You don't need money to spark a revival. You don't need money to spark a revival. You don't need money to spark a revival. That is a false teaching. Dr. Bridges, I rebuke you. This is false teaching. Period.
Nothing fortifies, nothing attracts the demonic, nothing invokes demons like money. If you don't believe me, watch this. Let a parent leave an inheritance to one child and not another. Let people find out their deceased loved ones has a hidden life insurance policy. You will see some of the worst in people. This is why the scripture says the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, the love of money, not money itself. But two, all this is saying, Kynan, is when that happens, money just brings out the evil that was already in you. Money doesn't change you. Money just exposes what was already there. So if you're greedy and envious and lustful and all that kind of stuff, money just makes all that worse. Money just takes what you already are and makes it worse. It just exposes and makes it worse what was already there. So that's not the money's fault. That's the person's fault because they weren't right in the heart. Money just takes what you already are and then enhances it. So that's not a money problem. That's the person's problem. But anyway.
All kinds of evil. People are capable of such demonic things. People will traffic a child for money. They will kill their parents for money. They will rob.
Right, because they're evil and their hearts are evil and they have not repented and given their life over to Christ. Therefore, their hearts are deceitfully wicked. It's not the money's problem. It's their hearts are the problem and their hearts have not been transformed. That's the real issue, not the money, the people's hearts, Kynan.
A liquor store, take a life for finances. And yet we say in the church, money's not important. You have to be
Nobody said it. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying money is not important. We all know that money is a tool and money can bless and money can help and all that kind of stuff. We're not ignorant and stupid. We know money can buy things that people need. Not one person is saying money's not important. Not one person. That is a false lie. That is a narrative. And that's just a stupid statement. Nobody's saying that. But I know why you're saying it, because it helps support your false narrative that you're teaching now. We get it. See, we're not stupid, Kynan. We get it. We get it.
Fool to believe that. You have to be the most ignorant person on the planet to believe that money is not important. And
you're right. That's why nobody does believe it. That's why it's stupid what you're saying.
We conflate scriptures, for example, the love of money is the root of all evil, for suggesting that money somehow is not important.
Nobody's saying that. But again, nice try. Try again. That was not it.
Not only is it important, but it is vital to the next great move of God.
There it is. You got to have money to have the move of God. Without money, there is no move of God. Says no Bible verse ever. Again, I just gave you Acts chapter 3 that just totally contradicts this. This is a lie, what he's saying here.
It is vital to the next great move of God. In fact, the revival that's coming will be characterized by a great transference of wealth.
Wow. Guys, I'm so sick to my stomach. I don't even know what to do with this. Thank God it's almost done. But like, I am so ticked off with this. I am so annoyed. I'm so sick to my stomach with this. I don't even know what to do with this. This is how bad it is.
A great transference of wealth is coming. And here's the issue. It's already here. And hear this. It just depends on which side of the transfer you're on.
Who's getting it? When are we getting it? How's it going to come? Who's it going to come through? And how much are we going to get? I don't know, but it's coming and it's already here. Have you got it, saints? Have you received it yet? Because I know I haven't. Well, the Lord has been blessing me, yes, but it ain't because of this.
It's not a matter of whether or not the transfer is going to take place. It's just about which side of the transference you're going to be on. Are you going to be on the receiving end or the giving end of the transference? Watch this. Is it going to be stripped from you or entrusted to you?
So if I'm on the wrong end, I'll be broke because they're going to take it from me and give it to somebody else. Says who? I don't know.
We need to wake up, beloved. Every other faith system in the world understands this, except Christians, except the church. We're so up in arms and tightwad over finances that we don't really want to have the biblical conversations necessary. It is time for the church to be empowered. Run from any preacher telling you, oh, no, it ain't about all that prosperity. They're an idiot.
No, we're not. And you're gaslighting. Thank you very much. Thank you for gaslighting me and other preachers who say this. Thank you, though, for insulting us and gaslighting us. We appreciate that, Kynan. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Mark and avoid this guy, guys. No problem. All right, if you want to say that about me and other people like me, fine. We can mark and avoid you. We don't got to put up with this.
I'm telling you, any preacher telling you that we don't need to talk about finances is an absolute idiot.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody is saying that. But try again.
Run from that congregation, run from that church, because they don't love you, nor do they love the Lord or the Bible. Because if they did, they would teach you.
And I say that too. Yeah, they would teach you. They would teach you stewardship. They would teach you IRAs, stocks, bonds, investments. What is an IRA? What is an individual retirement account? How do you save for the future? Do you have life insurance? Do you have burial insurance? If you die, do you have enough money for your loved ones so they can bury you? Do you have all these things? By the way, I have that old video. I'm going to include that in this video as well. Go back and watch that video. I talk about stocks, bonds, IRAs, individual retirement accounts, CDs. Do you know how this works? Do you know how the stock market works? Not that I'm telling you to do that, but do you know how it works? Do you have life insurance? Do you have health insurance? Do you have burial insurance? Whatever it is that you need. Do you have these type of things? So, Kynan, I have talked about it. I've made videos about it, and I'm going to place that video in the description of this video right here. Along with these other two videos that we're showing, I'm going to include those as well, so you can go back and watch it at your own time. But yes, I'm going to include that video again so people can go back and get these kind of things to be educated on health insurance, life insurance, burial insurance, IRAs, etc. I talk about money and I talk about stewardship of money a lot because I want people to be blessed too, Kynan, but it ain't going to come through this garbage.
believe we are in one of the greatest transference of all, and we need to have three things in this hour: radical faith, radical obedience, and radical giving.
Radical faith, radical obedience, and radical giving. Obedience to what? What is happening? Sorry, guys. Let me go back. Sorry. It was still playing. Radical faith, radical obedience, and radical giving. Obedience to what? Obedience to what? This is false teaching, guys. Again, anytime you hear the words wealth transfer, that should be a buzzword. That is a prosperity gospel word of faith trigger word that says run, 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 run. And after 9 minutes of that video, you now see why. So you can tell from my banner here is Dr. Kynan Bridges, the wealth transfer is a scam and it's not happening. This is a false teaching, guys, and you need to run. Mark and avoid this as much as you possibly can. Anyway, if you've liked this, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And again, Bill Winston was teaching this all the way back in 2012. Here it is 2025. We're still here. This wealth transfer thing has been talked about for a long time. And that Dr. Kynan Bridges video, that was only like a month ago. So here it is. It's still recent, very much recent, and people are still teaching this trash. As always, guys, hit the like button and share this. Share this with as many people as you possibly can. Get the word of God out there so people can get delivered from stuff like this. And subscribe if you haven't, and tell others to subscribe. Until next time, know that God loves you 92. God bless everybody.